Hey everybody, welcome back to the BrickBreaker. This will probably be the last video I add. I've had just a few requests for how to get brick vectors into the program. So hopefully you're wrapping up your BrickBreaker and working on your final project in the course. Here's how I am going to add a brick structure to my project. I'm probably just going to steal a lot of the code from the paddle class. So let me copy that. There's not much there. Okay. And then I'm going to go File, New, Empty File, add this to the project, of course. I'm going to call it brick.cpp and hit save. I will paste all of this stuff. I don't need any of this right now. I do want B2 body. I guess I'll stick with. Actually, I don't need width and height either. And so I'm going to write the word brick here so that I don't. This was called a header guard, if you remember correctly. It protects you from calling the object more than once. Okay, so here's the danger with copying and pasting an entire class. Now I got to go through and make sure I catch all of the paddles and turn them into bricks. I'm going to do that right now. Brick here, like that. That should be it. Let's run it. I'll include brick here. Just make sure there's no errors or anything. And there is an error. Oh, it's because I deleted width and height because I didn't need them. Cool. So run it again. And I will call these width and height like I originally did in my paddle class. Let's make sure that runs. It does. Great. All right. A brick, I'm going to just have my brick be a static body for now. You know what? I'm going to leave it as kinematic because a kinematic body acts a lot like a static body, except you can give it velocity. So there may be an option where I want the brick to fall down or do something interesting, and I'll leave that open so that maybe if you hit a certain brick, it falls down, and then you catch it with your paddle or something. That can add some complexity to your game. So that'll be neat. I guess I'll leave it white. Everything else looks good. There's my brick class right there. So let's add a brick in our game and see what happens. Now these bricks don't do anything. They don't. I don't even have a draw command for them, like I do in paddle here. Update position would draw that. In my ball class and in my paddle class, I did delete update position, but I guess. You know what? I'm going to keep it. Copy it there. Shouldn't have deleted it. But I don't need any of this keyboard stuff right here. All I need is the render.draw so that it'll draw the brick. And I also need the set position of whatever you find in the physics world. Now, the physics world should never change the brick's position, but you never know. Maybe down the line, if you add some power-ups and stuff, that may happen. So we'll keep this code in here as well. And so if I want to add a brick to my project, I'll just do it here. One brick is going to be kind of boring, but whatever. World, I'll put it up at the top of the screen somewhere, like 50 pixels over, 50 pixels down, and a width and a height of I don't know, like a width of 40 pixels or something and a height of 10 or height of 20 maybe. There you go. There's my brick. And in here I have to go my brick dot update position. And there it is. And we'll run that. And there's my little brick there. And let's see if it hits it. I'll probably have to aim it over there at it. Pretty small brick. I'm actually probably going to change the size of that, but there it goes. It does hit off the thing. I actually want my bricks to delete when they get hit, so I got to make a vector of them because I need more than one. And I'm going to make this like 80 and 30 or something. Let's see if that's a good looking brick there. It's probably a little bit too wide. 80 by 20. Good. Nice little brick. Okay. So perfect. Why don't I make a row of bricks? And to do that, I'm going to need a vector. Now, normally we've making vectors of all different kinds of variables, but I can now make a vector of bricks because I made my own little object called brick. And so I'm going to do that. I'll call it my bricks again. And right now it will be empty. I can't have this code here anymore because my brick is a vector. And so I have to add something to the vector before I actually do it. I'll get rid of this size of thing as well. So let's make, I don't know, let's make a row of like 10 bricks. So I'll just go int I is less than 10, and I plus plus like that. And I will say my bricks dot, was it push back? Yeah. And then I'll say brick like that, and I'll call my constructor, just like we would normally do with a vector of anything really. And then I'll say, originally I had 50 here and 50 here and a width of 80 and a width of 20, and that was fine. So that's going to make 10 bricks, right? The problem is they'll all be on top of each other. So I'm going to say something like 50 plus I, which is going to go from 1 to 10 times. Now if I say 80 and the width is 80, they'll all be exactly beside each other. So I'm going to say like 100 here so that they'll be split up a little bit. Okay, so then if I want to update my bricks, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go for int I equals 0. I is less than, now I could put 10 here, but that's a dangerous thing to do because my brick size is going to be constantly changing as I hit them. They're going to be deleting, right? So if I say like my bricks I dot update position like that, and then I put in my window, it'll run fine for now, and it won't crash. 10 is probably too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can only do 7 for now. So I'll put 7 here. This will actually crash maybe. My program will probably crash if I have 10 here and 7 here because it'll try to access more bricks than are actually there, and that's a memory leak, and that's a big issue in C++. So let's see what happens. Boom, that's what it looks like when you get a memory leak. First of all, you don't get your return 0 because the game crashed, but it doesn't really tell you where it crashed. One good way to check where it crashed is to put a debug point right on your return 0 and run your program in debug. And it'll usually tell you which line it crashed on. There it is. It says I received a segmentation fault. And if I want to dig a little deeper here, it tells me the memory address that it happened, and it tells me it happened on line 54 in my main. Oh no, it says line 37 in my project. And where in my main? Line 54, yeah, right here. So that is correct. So it's best to put here my bricks.size. so that you don't have any issues with memory, it accessing memory that it doesn't have. Okay, so let's see if it draws 7 bricks. Let's see if it bounces off all of them. Yep. I wonder if I can get it like up above there and bouncing around. No. Let's see. No. Okay. Cool. Okay, how am I going to get that brick to delete if the ball hits it? I can do that in the update position, perhaps. I'll probably have to do it in the ball class though, right? Because I can't like tell a brick to erase itself. I might actually do it in the main. Let's do, we already have a check collision with a paddle right here. And this check collision function with our ball helped return, or helped set the ball's angle. So let's do another check collision function. Check collision. I'm actually going to steal it from physics.h again. So if I go to physics.h and I look for a check collision function, here's the one that checks the collision for any other block. I want to, you know what, I might just steal the code from the ball and not have all that angle stuff. So let's copy that, okay, and we'll paste it here, like that. We don't need any of this stuff. Okay, remember that was just kind of bounce the ball off at an angle kind of thing. We don't need any of that. And instead of paddle here, we'll say brick. Now, it's probably going to crash because ball has never heard of a brick before. And this should be B1 here. And so let's run that and we'll say, I've never heard of brick. Brick does not name a type. Okay, so we'll go in here and include brick. Brick.cpp. Now it's a good thing in my brick that I put this up here. Remember, this was called a header guard, which says don't let brick get called more than once in your program. The problem is main is calling brick, right? But main is also calling ball, which is also calling brick. So brick would have got called twice, and that would have been a big issue. Let's see what happens if I get rid of this brick thing here. It'll give me an error and say like it's been defined twice or something. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to comment this out, and let's see if that gives me an error. Yeah, previous redefinition of structure brick. So that's what happens when you do that. So don't do that. All right, there you go. Let's just run it to make sure there's no issues. I have 2 check collision functions. How can I have 2 functions with the same name? It's no problem. That is called, what do you call that? Function overloading in C++? I think that's the name of it. As long as they have different inputs, it's fine. C++ knows which one to use. It's smart enough to figure that out. All right, so there we go. I can tell if my ball is now hitting a brick. And in my main, it'd be nice to put this in a function where I can delete the bricks, but my main is the part of the code that has the vector of bricks. So that is the part of the code that also has to delete them. That has to be done in the main. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go through all my bricks, right? And I'm going to say something like this. If, and the name of my ball is called main ball dot check collision. I have 2 of them. I'm going to use the one with paddle, and I'm going to check if it's hitting any of my bricks. So I'm going through all of my bricks right here. So I will say my bricks dot I, like that. If it's going to hit one of those bricks, why don't for now I just see out something random to make sure to see if it's hitting. Okay, hit. I'll write the word hit there. So it's going to go through. Not only is it going to update position of all my bricks, which just means draw them, but it's also going to check if the ball ever hits them. And if it does, it will say the word hit. So let's see if that works. Yep, it hit one of the bricks and said hit. Now, another cool thing I could do is say hit, and then I could say the number. I'll put the number I here so I know what brick it hit. Okay, that's the 6th one, which means the 7th. There's the 5th. Let's see how good I am at hitting them all in a row. No, screwed it up. There you go. So it does hit them. Okay, and it knows that it's hitting them. So here's how I would delete them then. The first thing you want to do when you delete something, because there is a part of memory that where it's in your physics world, but then there's also a part of your own memory where you have a vector of bricks. So if you delete the thing out of the vector first, then you can never delete it from your physics world. So if I say something like my bricks dot erase, right? And then I say my bricks, this is how you erase vectors. Super awkward. Plus I. Okay, so that's good. It will erase the brick from my vector. The problem is it will still be in my physics world. There's nothing to say that you've removed it from your physics world. So now you've erased the thing, right? Watch. So it's gone, but it'll still be there. See that? You didn't take it out of your physics world. And you actually saw yeah, there you go. So these will all still be there, which is a problem, right? Obviously. But now that I've erased the memory address of the vector, I have no way to access it. I don't know where it is in this physics world. I've lost the ability to find it in my physics world. So whenever you delete something, you actually want to erase it from your physics world first. And how do you erase something out of a physics world? Let's look here. Delete block right there. It's called world.destroyBody. So I'm going to copy that. Okay. And I don't need this set user data to 0 thing. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to my main, and I'm going to say world, which is the name of my world, .destroy body, but I can't say B, right? I have to say my bricks I dot body. And then it'll delete it out of the physics world as well. Hopefully, if I've coded it correctly. See that weird little blinking? You're actually seeing the vector kind of reorganize itself that first time. I don't know why it did that actually. Not a huge... Hey, it's gone. There we go. Smart. Cool, eh? There's a little bit of blinking that goes on there. And I think you're kind of watching the vector reorganize itself from a 5 size vector to a 4 and so on and so forth. It's got to reshuffle everything in memory, right? Erasing things out of a vector is not very efficient thing for C++ to do, right? If you have a vector of 100 bricks and you delete the 20th one, then from 21 to 100 all has to get reshuffled from 20 to 99, and that is a very expensive operation for a computer to do. So, maybe it might not even be in your best interest to not erase it and just destroy it in the world. Let's see what happens here. If I don't, I think I'm going to have some issues when I do this. I think I'm going to get a crash. Yeah. It now, look, it takes like a while for it to erase. It's weird. That's cool. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't have time to figure out why it's doing that, but don't do that. All right, so there you go. You can add some bricks, you can have them erase, and makes your game a BrickBreaker game, obviously, right? Let's see. Bam. Let me run it one more time. There's that little bit of a blink there on all the ones after it and the one itself, so I'm sure there's ways to deal with that. I guess we could put it in its own loop. Let's try that. Right, maybe it's not the best place to put it in a loop that's updating the position and a loop where my bricks.size is kind of dynamically changing. So I'll paste that code here, my if statement, but I'll put it in its own for loop. It's redundant. I just want to see if that might be the reason why they're flashing before they get erased. Not that it's a huge issue, but it's saying something about our code that it's flashing a little bit there, that, you know, we don't necessarily, everything's not quite in order there. So let's look and see if that fixes it. Yes, it does. It makes it a lot nicer, okay, to look at that than to have that weird little flash. So let's do it that way. I think that's a good way to end the video. I think just because this update position is in charge of drawing it, and this is dynamically changing, my bricks.size is changing because you're deleting them inside the loop where it's updating the position. So you're updating the position. You know what? Maybe if this code goes before the update position, then you don't have that issue. Let me just check that quickly. I still think it'll flash, but you never know. No, it doesn't. So, all right, there you go. Problem solved. Cool. The update position was just before the actual delete, and it made it we kind of saw the reshuffling for that split frame we didn't need to see. Cool. And there you go. Brick class. Add it to your project if you haven't done so already. Talk to you guys soon. Make sure you work on your final project. Again, you know, if we were in class, we would work on the final project for like, you know, a month or two. So, and I would be there every day kind of helping you. So I'm not expecting your final project to be, you know, this crazy tour de force project that you probably could have made if we were in class every day working on it for 75 minutes. That being said, there's lots of good coders in the class that'll probably make something even better because they're home all day and they enjoy it. But, you know, if you can just put together something decent, I'll be happy with that for sure. Okay? You're already ready for whatever you're going to take computer-wise, university or college. So this is just for fun at this point. So talk to you guys soon. See ya.